ROS, and then the diagnostics and treatment.
Okay, let's start off with patient identifiers. So the name of the interviewer was Juan Miguel Cruz, and the date of interview was done on August 1, 2022. Reliability is 98%. So the name of our patient is Francois K. Mueller, who is a 41-year-old male, single, and with a nationality of European. Now, he is Christian and occupation is an engineer. He was born on August 26, 1981 in Sweden. Present address is Fairview, Quezon City, and number of times of admission is 0. Next slide, please. So the chief complaint of our patient today is difficulty breathing. Next slide, please. So for history of present illness or HPI, 3 days prior consultation, patient exhibited productive cough with fever of 38 Celsius. Patient took 1 tablet of 500 milligram paracetamol for fever, which relieved high temperature. 4 days prior consultation, patient experienced mild right upper quadrant pain. Pain is described to have little effect on daily activities. The patient said that the pain is on and off. Due to polluted work environment, the patient also complained of worsening shortness of breath with easy fatigability. 1 day before consultation, the patient was forced to visit the doctor because he felt like being out of air all the time. Patient thinks he will die from respiratory failure like his father. Next slide, please. So for past medical history, there was no childhood diseases noted. For immunizations, the patient received MMR vaccine, chickenpox vaccine, which was received at 12 months and 4 years old, as well as influenza vaccine. So for adult diseases, patient has bronchial asthma and COPD. Next slide, please. So for family history, the father had COPD, liver cirrhosis, and was deceased at 60 years old, which was due to respiratory failure from COPD. The mother is 60 years old, also positive for COPD. And the patient is an only child with no siblings. Next slide, please. So for personal and social history, the patient is a college graduate. Again, occupation is an engineer. Living condition in urban area, which is polluted, which has a polluted environment. For leisure activities, drinking, sexual practices, the patient is active and has daily alcohol intake. Next slide, please. So the patient is single, but he lives alone. Food preferences, none. Exercise regimen, the patient does not exercise. Smoking history, 15 pack years. No illicit drug use was noted. Next slide, please. For review of systems, there was nothing noted in this part. Next slide, please. Let's proceed now with diagnostics.
So for the physical exam, the general survey, the patient is conscious, coherent, responsive, and orient to time, place, and person. Patient is dressed appropriately, neat and clean, and look stated as age. So patient is cooperative, friendly, with normal speech and language intact, and immediate recent and remote memory. Distress mood which is congruent with affect. The patient is ambulatory but stance is stooping forward. So the nutritional status of the patient is his BMI is underweight, weight circumference is 80 centimeters, and gait and posture ambulatory with stooping forward, and body and build slender and signs of distress, indicating this mood. Next slide, please. So the vital signs of the patient. So the blood pressure is 130 over 90 mmHg. Heart rate as 101 beats per minute, and respiratory rate is 25 cycles per minute, and temperature is 36.5 Celsius. Next slide, please. So for the skin, white and dry, head, eyes, nose, ears, and throat. The patient head is normocephalic, symmetric, with no tenderness. Hair is thick, evenly distributed, and fine and black. There's no palpable and or visible mass present. Temporal arteries are not visible but equal and soft and consistent with strong pulsation. So no facial or neck lesions noted. Patient face is oval, symmetrical, fair-skinned, with few hyperpigmentation on previous spots of acne. No involuntary facial movement. Patient's eyes have equal opening. Pupils are equal, round, and reactive to light and accommodation. So the next one is chest examination. So in inspection, there's an increased anterior posterior diameter of the chest. This could indicate barrel chest and tense accessory respiratory muscles as a sign of difficulty of breathing. So for palpation, it has decreased firmitus, percussion, diffusely hyperresonant, auscultation, wheezing, sibilant rills or rhonchi on auscultation, decreased breath sounds with prolonged expiratory phase. So here in the chest examination, we could see the progression of the disease. If they may be normal or it can be COVID. So dito siya makita yung progression ng disease. Next slide, please. So this is the abdominal examination. So under inspection, symmetrical brown, no lesion of scar. Shape is flat with flat umbilicus, visible pulsation in epigastric region, no bulging flanks and no localized bulges, no abnormal pulsation and no visible peristalsis. So liver slightly enlarged and firm, and tenderness of the right upper quadrant. Okay, next slide, please.
Okay, for the diagnostic workup, so we divided into three for the clinical laboratory, for radiology and spirometry. So under clinical laboratory, you have the screening test. We have the liver function test, composed of the liver enzymes. We have the ALT and the AST, and also the total protein and albumin globulin ratio. And also, I will discuss later a little bit of prothrombin time. And then this is followed by an inflammatory marker, which is the CRP, or C-reactive protein, followed by the serum alpha-1 antitrypsin level concentration, and the confirmatory test, which are the phenotype testing using serum electrophoresis, and then the DNA amplification test, which is not routinely done. And then we have the culture and sensitivity because the patient exhibit a productive cough. And then this is followed by radiology, chest radiography, and CT scan with or without IV contrast, and then followed by spirometry, FEV1 or FVC ratios. The next slide, please. So for the first laboratory test, we have the liver test, or liver function test. So the patient tested for ALT and has a result of 37 units per liter, which is high dun sa reference range natin nasa 4 to 36 units per liter. And for the AST naman, it is also elevated, 35 units per liter, which yung reference ratio is around 3 to 33 units per liter. So the liver enzymes such as AST and ALT are elevated, indicating hepatic disease. So PI*ZZ and a few other mutant alleles produce structurally abnormal alpha-1 antitrypsin, which is retained in the endoplasmic reticulum of the hepatocytes, causing cellular damage. So the total protein and albumin ratio is, for total protein is 65 grams per liter, which is normal. That's albumin of 43 grams per liter and globulin of 22 grams per liter. So the albumin globulin ratio is normal. So this means that the synthetic function of the liver is reflected mainly by the albumin. So mild liver disease has a little to no effect in synthetic function, resulting in normal albumin serum concentration. The reduced concentration the reduced globulin concentration is observed as there's deficient concentration of alpha-1 antitrypsin in the serum. So increased AG ratio of 1.89 is also seen in liver diseases. So according to Henry's, in liver disease with widespread injury or necrosis, such as in fulminant hepatic failure and cirrhosis, plasma levels of liver synthesized proteins fall, such that proteins with longer half-lives tend to decrease more slowly. So example is albumin has a half-life of about 20 days. So this decreases in its serum levels occur more slowly than those of proteins with shorter half-lives, such as yung mga clotting factor 7, which is yung half-life is around 46 hours, transthyretin 1 to 2 days, and transferrin 6 days. So kapag nag-conduct tayo ng coagulation studies, the patient may show a prolonged prothrombin time. The normal INR is around 10 to 13 seconds. So prolonged PT is observed in severe liver disease as the factor 7 has shorter half-life, making it prone to decrease in the serum concentration if the synthetic function of the liver is compromised. So next slide, please. So the next one would be the CRP, or the C-reactive protein. The patient has 12 milligrams per liter, which is elevated compared to the reference range of less than 10 milligrams per liter. So CRP is proposed as a biomarker of systemic inflammation. So the patient has a mild liver disease causing the body to release acute phase reactants. So alpha-1 antitrypsin is acute phase reactant. So if it is measured during acute inflammatory event, the higher level may possibly suggest normal alpha-1 antitrypsin status. For this reason, yung European Respiratory Society recommends simultaneous measurement of the CRP to aid in the interpretation. So if, for example, the elevated CRP protein with normal alpha-1 antitrypsin level may be consistent with a deficiency of alpha-1 antitrypsin. So parang ibig sabihin lang nito, if yung patient natin is undergoing infection or inflammatory response, tataas yung CRP niya at saka alpha-1 antitrypsin that may mask yung deficiency of alpha-1 antitrypsin. Kasi nga yung alpha-1 antitrypsin is also an acute phase reactant. So the next one would be the serum alpha-1 antitrypsin levels. So the patient has 0.345 grams per liter, which is low dun sa reference range natin na 0.9 to 0.2 grams 0.09 to 0.2 grams per liter. Serum alpha-1 antitrypsin levels are used to identify disease and determine levels. This is most commonly performed by nephelometry. Serum alpha-1 antitrypsin concentration alone has a low sensitivity for detecting alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. So normal level considered to be 120 to 200 milligrams per DL for the genotype na PI*MM, and protective threshold values widely considered to be 57 milligrams per deciliter. So for the genotype na PI*CZ, usually results in a level of less than 50 milligrams per DL. So the patient has a 0.345, diba? So parang mayroong malapit siya dun sa genotype na PI, dun sa concentration ng serum alpha-1 antitrypsin sa genotype na PI*ZZ. So the severe alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency is a risk factor for liver disease, but the prevalence of liver cirrhosis and hepatocellular cancer in PI*ZZ adults is unknown. So next slide, please. So here we have the confirmatory test. We have the serum electrophoresis. So mapapansin nyo, dun sa alpha-1 band, so it seems to be flattened na. So the alpha-1 antitrypsin kasi is the most abundant alpha-1 globulin, and since here sa patient natin may deficiency siya, kaya nagpa-flatten siya. And alpha-1 antitrypsin is the most important protease inhibitor in the plasma. So the mutations present in the S and Z variants prevent normal protein glycation, leading to the accumulation of alpha-1 antitrypsin within the hepatocytes and reduce plasma alpha-1 antitrypsin levels. So ibig sabihin, yung alpha-1 antitrypsin natin are accumulated within the hepatocyte. So parang nagtatrap sila doon, and causing yung sa inflammation dun sa liver. And then the alpha-1 globulin band is likely to be flat because of the reduced concentration of the alpha-1 antitrypsin sa patient natin. So next slide, please. The next one will be a genotyping. So PI star ZZ, so individual with this genotype has serum concentration of alpha-1 antitrypsin that is approximately 10 to 20% of normal and are at high risk for both liver and lung diseases. This genotype is present in 95% of the affected individuals with clinical manifestation of alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. So variable diseases expressivity in individuals with the PI star Z genotype not encountered by the presence of known risk factors such as cigarette smoking suggested the existence of other as yet unidentified genetic disease modifiers. So next slide, please. So for the spirometry naman, the patient has 0.65 dun sa FEV1, FVC ratio niya. So a little background about this. So FVC, or the forced vital capacity, is the volume of air that the patient can forcibly exhale in one breath. And then FEV1 naman, or the forced expiratory volume in 1 second, is the volume of air that the patient is able to exhale in the first second of forced expiration. FEV1, FVC ratio naman is formally expressed as fraction by means of percentage. So the FEV1 is a measure of how easily air flows through the lungs. So COPD patients often have narrowing or inflammation of the airways. So this hinders how fast air can leave the lungs. So this can lead to a decrease in the FEV1. And if the FEV1 is decreased disproportionately to the FVC, a diagnosis of COPD is made. To determine the decrease is disproportionate, the FEV1 FVC ratio is calculated. So an FEV1 FVC ratio of less than 0.70 after a bronchodilator is typically considered diagnostic for COPD. So here is the figure natin from the cold spirometric criteria for COPD severity. So yung patient natin has a 0.65 and chief complaint niya is difficulty of breathing. So it may fall on moderate COPD, wherein symptoms usually progress at this stage with shortness of breath, typically developing on exertion. So that's all for my part. Thank you.
Hello? Okay. For now, let's go to culture. So we can also do culture since merong phlegmsy patient. The sample here will be sputum. So based on the journals I read, we can check for Haemophilus influenzae, Haemophilus parainfluenzae, Streptococcus pneumoniae, Moraxella catarrhalis, Mycoplasma pneumoniae, Chlamydophila pneumoniae, Enterobacteriaceae, Klebsiella pneumoniae, E. coli, and Proteus enterobacter. Next slide, please.
Okay, let us now proceed to the patient's radiologic test. As part of the diagnostic workup, the patient received a plain chest radiograph to rule out any alternative diagnosis. His findings include hyperlucent appearance of the lungs, a flattened and lowered diaphragm, increased AP diameter of the chest, and an exaggerated verticality of the heart. The X-ray on your most left-hand side is normal, while at its right is our patient's lungs. Normally, lung tissue should not be visible on the 7th anterior rib. Pero sa affected lung, the tissue is visible sa 7th anterior rib, which implies that lung has increased in volume, and this is a radiologic feature of emphysema. Another feature is the hyperlucency of the lungs, which means that the lungs look a bit darker than normal and there's less vascular markings as compared to the normal X-ray. A third feature is the loss of the crescent shape of the hemodiaphragms. We can see that in the normal X-ray that it has a nice crescent shape, while sa right side it is flat. There is also narrowing of the transverse diameter of the heart, ito. So there is exaggerated verticality. On the most right-hand side is the lateral view. Again, we can see a hyperinflated lung. And another feature is the barrel-shaped thoracic concavity, because the AP diameter is increased. The diaphragms are very flat on the lateral view, whereas normally we should see a dome-shaped diaphragm. The patient also underwent CT scan, which is currently the modality of choice for detecting emphysema. This is used to assess the disease presentation, specifically to characterize the extent and distribution of emphysema and bullae, in addition to assessing the presence or extent of bronchiectasis. The chest CT of the patient shows loss of lung parenchyma and hyperlucency. As tissues are lost, pulmonary vessels appear smaller, fewer in number, and spread farther apart. Now, these emphysematous lungs display attenuation values between negative 910 to negative 960 Hounsfield units, whereas kapag sa healthy lungs naman, this should display attenuation values between negative 750 and negative 850 Hounsfield units. Our patient CT also shows lower lobe predominance. Yan, mas darker siya dito. So he has panlobular emphysema, which is one of the hallmarks of alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency.
Now, moving on to the treatment. Next slide, please. For the medications or treatment options, so protecting the lungs from environmental and infectious insults may stabilize the disease. So if a patient smokes, you can recommend and facilitate smoking cessation and also recommend avoidance of environmental particulates such as dust and fumes. So pneumococcal vaccine and annual influenza vaccine should also be administered. Next, manage COPD as in patients without AAT deficiency because acute infection poses the threat of increased elastolytic burden in people with AAT deficiency. Therefore, early antibiotic therapy for all purulent exacerbations is recommended. Next is IV augmentation. So this is the only disease-specific therapy in AAT deficiency. It uses alpha-1 antitrypsin protein derived from the blood of healthy donors to increase the amount of alpha-1 antitrypsin in the lungs of patients with AAT deficiency. Lastly, lung transplant can be considered for selected patients with end-stage lung disease, as this can improve quality of life. For liver disease naman, administering hepatitis A and B vaccines can protect the liver from further damage. Liver transplant can also be considered for end-stage liver disease. This can cure cirrhosis caused by AAT deficiency and restore normal alpha-1 antitrypsin production or serum levels. Next slide, please. For the intervention, smoking cessation may be done through nicotine replacement products, pharmacotherapy, and counseling. Avoiding excessive alcohol consumption can also protect the liver from further damage. Now, for monitoring, yearly spirometry in all patients identified with AAT deficiency should be done whether symptomatic or not. All patients should be evaluated yearly for possible liver disease by physical examination with liver function tests, including INR and platelet count, and also ultrasonographic examination. Now, for patients with cirrhosis, Alpha-1 Foundation recommends ultrasound every 6 months to monitor for onset of hepatocellular carcinoma. Next slide, please.
Before we end our presentation, just a quick review from our past lectures. So on the left side of your screen, here we show a normal lung. So a normal lung will have alpha-1 antitrypsin coating it to protect it from neutrophil elastase. So neutrophil elastase is produced by white blood cells, and its function is to break down harmful bacteria, potentially damaging to lungs if exposed. So on the right side of your screen now is an abnormal lung where there is deficiency in alpha-1 antitrypsin. So as you can see, alpha-1 antitrypsin is trapped in the liver, which will cause liver damage. Now, since the lung lacks alpha-1 antitrypsin, it is now vulnerable by being damaged caused by the neutrophil elastase. So neutrophil elastase is uninhibited, causing lung damage. Next slide, please. So that is all for our presentation today. Thank you.
Okay, any reaction? By the way, class, I was just told by the subject coordinator that there will be no electrolyte orientation. I think they will just provide the slides or I'm waiting for the answer. But for serologic techniques, which you will miss because of the academic ease, they will also provide materials instead of the orientation given by me. No? So what we actually missed last week is the CML. And this AAT, we missed this. Kailan na nga ba ito? Anyway, basta this is a makeup.
August 26.
August 26, no, na na-miss natin sa ano. Okay. Who would like to give a reaction? O bilisan ninyo because we have 2 cases and I have a meeting at 11:30. So, or even I have to leave, but I will be listening in. Okay, to start with, what is the genetic genetic abnormality in alpha-1 antitrypsin? Who can answer that one? Uy, bilisan ninyo. Magtatawag pa ba tayo? Asan na ang mga walang magme-mema? Because if you're not going to be participating, you will get automatically a 0 grade. You will only get the participation point in the quiz. And if you can perfect it, the 5 questions, diba? Sige. What is the genetic abnormality in alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency? Not the reporters, please, because they already have their grade when they presented. Walang mag-volunteer. Okay. Sino na nga ang mga reporters? Tell me if you're a reporter. Yes. Yes, who is the one speaking? Is it Bartolome?
Yes. Yung gene po, SERPINA1, non-working. As a
what happens to the SERPINA1 gene? What is the abnormality of the SERPINA1? Okay, let's go to another person. She mentioned about an abnormality in SERPINA1 gene. So what is that abnormality? There can be how many abnormalities that can occur in a gene ba? Uy, wala. Let me call on Castro. Are you a reporter, Castro? Castro Francia? Naka-freeze ba siya or is that a...
Doc, mahina daw po yung internet niya kaya medyo nagalag po yung video.
Okay, just call on Diaz.
Yes po. Sorry. Reporter po.
Ano daw?
Reporter daw po siya, Doc.
Reporter, sorry. Let's go to Santos. Ross Santos. Wala. Silo.
Doc, yung SERPINA1 gene po kasi it is responsible po para dun sa alpha-1 antitrypsin. So if it is inhibited, there will be lung condition or lung diseases such as emphysema po.
Okay, but that's not actually the question, but you get a point for that. Let's ask Vilog, what is the genetic abnormality in alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency? What happens to SERPINA1 gene?
Dok, may mutation po sa
There is mutation in the gene, okay? And this mutation will result into not the effect yet. What will happen to what is genes are composed of what ba? They're like amino acids, diba? So what amino acid is missing and what's there as a replacement? Hoy, wala. And let's call Navarra. I will call those who are partially shown or partially hidden. Navarra?
yes po, Dok.
Yes. The gene mutation. What does it do? Sorry. What will happen to the gene? Which amino acid is replaced? Uy, wala.
Dok, yung naisip ko po is, kulang po pero sa chromosome 14. Wait.
What are the amino acids ba? Involved in what amino acid is replaced? The gene mutation results in polymerization. So, marami akong tanong pa dito para lang lahat makapag-participate, no? So, which amino acid is substituted?
Doc, yung glutamine po. Amino acid glutamine.
Glutamic acid is?
Lysine po.
Lysine. So, ano talaga ang dapat nandun? Lysine or glutamic acid?
Lysine po. Substitution of the amino acid glutamine po for lysine.
Kaya nga, ano yung originally dapat nandun? Glutamic acid or lysine?
Yung...
Nalito kayo kasi dun sa Google, ang pagka-state niya medyo tricky, di ba? So, ano? Which one replaces?
Glutamine.
Glutamic acid is the one that replaces or the one that is replaced? Hala.
Glutamic acid is the one that being replaced by lysine.
Lysine, okay, good. And at which position of the gene?
Position 342.
342, okay. I think you're looking at the Google document that Now, this polymerization will result into what is now the clinical outcome when there is mutation of the gene.
Magkakaroon po ng liver damage, Doc.
Liver damage, okay. Sige, you get the point for that. Ang tanong ko na lang is wala tuloy. What is the effect or what is the function or what are the functions of alpha-1 antitrypsin?
Protection po against sa neutrophil elastase.
So neutrophil elastase, which is actually iba naman, which is they are in general proteases. Diba? They are proteases. So, where are the alpha-1 antitrypsin? I mean, where is it synthesized? Iba naman.
Sa liver po.
And liver po, Doc.
In the, which part of the liver? Is it in the
hepatocytes?
In the hepatocytes. So, nasa loob siya ng hepatocytes. In alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, isa pang question. Para lang dumami ang Saan pa siya napoproduce? Saan pa napoproduce ang alpha-1 antitrypsin? minority, but they are produced in which part? Hoy.
So in the lungs po, Doc.
Yeah, in the which part of the lung? O kahit iba naman, para lang makarami kayo ng mema. Which part of the lung? Is it the bronchus? Is it the bronchus? Ano? At saan pa? In the tsaka nyo palang binabasa. In the bronchial epithelium. And where else? There are cells that produce an alpha-1 antitrypsin as well.
Neutrophils po.
No. Ang neutrophils produces elastases or proteases. Pero they do not produce there is a WBC that produces alpha-1 antitrypsin.
Doc, yung monocytes po.
Yes, the monocytes can produce. And so you have if they are produced in the liver, how is it going to reach the lung? Uy, dali-dali ng question eh. Come on, how will it reach the lung?
Through the bloodstream.
Through the bloodstream, yes, correct. Now, where are the alpha-1 antitrypsin? I mean, where will you find alpha-1 antitrypsin more? Hula-hulaan nyo na lang para may masabi kayo, bilis.
Sa lungs po.
Yes, sa lungs. They are there like 40% of it, di ba? They are in the lungs. Now, doon tayo sa pathology. Ano na nga yung tinatamaan ng mga organs? Hoy.
Lungs and liver.
Inubos na talaga. Sana isa-isa man lang para dalawa makapag-mema. Anyway, sige, lungs and liver. So what happens to the lung? Di ba yung nanreview na to sa patho? Hindi pa. Hindi kasi patho A pa lang kayo, no? But you know that alpha-1 antitrypsin also, it acts as an anti-inflammatory substance, di ba? Because in inflammation, you also produce elastasis, even in necrosis, di ba? Sige.
So, causing liver damage po.
O nandun siya natatrap yung alpha-1 antitrypsin or bakit siya magkukos ng liver damage doon? How pala? How will it cause liver damage? O ano?
Doc, by ano?
Ano?
Doc, by accumulation po.
By accumulation of the polymers that are produced, no? That's why there's going to be liver damage. And liver damage, kaya kanina may mga binanggit doon. What are those markers of liver damage that were mentioned? Bonifacio, na ba? Marami nang nakapag-mema? Or nalito ka na rin kasi sabay-sabay sila, ano?
Medyo marami na po.
Medyo. Isasara na natin ang memahan, okay? Meron pang hahabol. Now, meron pa naman konting let's go to the diagnosis. How are you going to diagnose alpha-1 antitrypsin? Or how do you know there is alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency? Come on.
Doc, measure ng liver enzyme.
Ganun. So pag may liver enzyme elevation ay mayroon na siyang alpha-1 antitrypsin. Di ba meron na kayong LFT sa kung nag-lecture sa inyo, di ba? Or sa CDB ba yun? I don't know. Baka CDB. So ano yun? Una muna, symptoms muna. What happens to the patient? Sige, what happens to the patient?
Respiratory distress.
Respiratory distress.
Difficulty of breathing.
Pero what is that condition? Four-letter acronym.
COPD.
COPD, Doc.
COPD. Bakit nagka-COPD? Because there is now destruction of the lung parenchyma due to the elastase. And which part? Which Pero sige lang, at least mema pa rin naman yun. O anong lobe? Hindi upper lobe, hindi upper lobe.
Left lobe.
Right.
Left lobe, di ba left and right lang? Ang lobes yung tatlo tsaka dalawa, di ba? Ilang lobes ba meron ang lung? Right lang. Hala, Diyos ko, anatomy, kinalimutan.
3 po, Doc.
3 sa right side, Doc, 2 sa left side.
Inubos mo na rin, Garcia, kasi hindi ka tumama doon sa kung anong lobe, no? Anyway, this is also here, considering alpha-1 antitrypsin. How are you going to confirm that diagnosis?
Electrophoresis.
Electrophoresis agad-agad?
X-ray or
Ano na?
X-ray for AED.
X-ray is an aid in the diagnosis. It will tell you there is emphysema, but will it tell you there's alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency?
For serum alpha-1 antitrypsin.
Yes, you can do serum alpha-1 antitrypsin levels or determination. And what will be the level?
Less than 80, Doc.
Ano na?
Less than 80.
There is a decree. Ano naman talagang talagang sinabi nyo na kung ilan yung ano ang magiging result. Less than 80 talaga. Sige, ano pa ba ang ang pwedeng itanong ko sa quiz? Okay. Wala naman na siguro. O basta natandaan nyo na yan Ngayon, punta na tayo sa mga memoirs na True Blue memoirs. What are your feelings? Ay, feelings na ba? Or ano na nga yung next? Mauna muna, opinion. O sinong gustong dyan, mag-mema? Kahit anong feelings man yan, opinion, idea, or violent reaction. Lahat na, Bonnie, nakapag mema?
Mga 5 na lang po.
O, mga 5. O, sige, yung mga 5, yan ang magiging grade ninyo kasi hindi kayo nagme-mema. O, sino kayo? Baka naman yan yung mga reporters. Lalo na in this case, parang lahat ng nauna, di ba, nanay, tatay, merong alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. So these patients should have been forewarned. Ano dapat na naging treatment dito para hindi, the patient should have, marami palang Tagalog natin ngayon, no? Meron bang mga wala namang mga sa inyo, mga imported, no? So, sabihin ko, ano dapat ang binigay? Ang treatment ninyo kanina, mga ano yung mga pinagsasabi ninyo. Pero ano yung dapat binigay? Hoy. Sino pang wala dyan, Pasyo? 4 na lang yan sila. Naka-mute ka.
Sorry, di pa ako nakamute. Hipolito, Name, Virtusio, Tungol.
Oh yes, Tungol, Hipolito, Name, and basta yung isa. Wala ka. Sige, ano naman? Ano pa lang, for everybody, ano yung dapat treatment in alpha-1 antitrypsin that will address the pathophysiology? The others are supportive, no? So, ano yung treatment? Wala.
Augmentation therapy po daw.
Ano na?
Augmentation therapy po.
Ano yan?
Augmentation po daw.
Ano yun?
Nabasa ka lang din po daw.
Okay. Pero si Bertuccio. So, merong deficiency. So, ano dapat ang gamot?
Magbibigay po ng
Yes, magbibigay ng alpha-1 antitrypsin. Saan manggagaling to? Pwede sa ibang tao, no? This can be fractionated from plasma. Okay? And sige, punta na tayo doon sa feelings and opinions. Come on, naku, naubos na natin oras natin. Come on, bilis. Feelings and opinions, wala. Meron ba kayong plating ng 12? Okay.
Yes.
Yun. Ito na lang, ibabagsak nyo na lang ito. Tapos, yung plating ay inaral nyo, ibabagsak nyo din. So, dalawa na yung ibabagsak nyo. Di ba? Anyway, hindi pa naman siguro bagsak. Gusto nyo bang mag-removal? Tinatanong ko kayo, ayaw nyo mag-removal? O di, outright fail kayo para wala ng removal. Diba? Pag nagdasal kayo, sabihin niyo, Lord, ipasa nyo po ako. Diba? Kung hindi po, removal na lang. Kayo parang, mali yung prayer nyo, Lord, ayaw ko pong mag-removal. O di, in-outright fail ka. Kasi ayaw mo mag-removal Diba? Mali yung prayers nyo. O wala na, ayaw nyo mag-mema man lang. Mema lang yung, para lang meron kayong point. Come on, balikan nyo yung pharma yan, ano? Ano ba yung, nyo, plating nyo? Ay, hindi, Wednesday pa lang ngayon. Para.
Media po.
Wag na kayo mag-aral dyan kasi hindi naman kayo papasa. O dito na lang, at least may chance pa kayo. O mema lang. Ibitawan nyo muna yung nyo dyan, yung libro or notes just for a minute. O si Alohado, may pa-cry emoji pa siya dyan,
Simulan ko na. Medyo nasisimpati po ako dun sa patient kasi...
Diba meron ka ng point? Bakit mo may mema ka dyan, Garcia?
Sorry na, Doc.
Ibigay mo na lang, i-chat mo doon sa gusto mong bilis. Wala talaga. O magsara na tayo. Let's go to the CML. Ang CML, gagawin natin in kasi I need to leave. So, makikinig naman ako and then we'll have, ihanda nyo na ang mga mema ninyo kasi mabilisan lang yung CML. Okay? Sige, for those 3 na i-chat nyo kaya. I-chat nyo kay Pasyo para siya magsabi. Baka nahiya kayo. Okay? Let's go to the next, Let's go to the next case. Okay? CML.
Kita po ba yung slide?
Yes po.
Yes po.
So for today po, we will be discussing about chronic myeloid leukemia. So our case, a 34-year-old woman came to the physician with a 2-month history of increasing weakness, persistent non-productive cough, fever and chills accompanied by night sweats, and a 13-pound weight loss over a 6-month period. Results of chest radiographs and purified protein derivative test for tuberculosis were negative. The patient was treated with ciprofloxacin and her cough improved, but she continued to grow weaker and was able to consume only small quantities of food. The patient appears pale and cachectic. There was tenderness and fullness in the left upper quadrant, and the spleen was palpable below the umbilicus. No hepatomegaly or peripheral adenopathy was noted. So ito po yung laboratory results niya. For patient identifiers, the patient is Ana Marie Mona, a 34-year-old female, single Filipino, Roman Catholic, a legal assistant, was born on July 19, 1988 at Tarlac City. She lives at Quezon City. Number of time admitted was 2 times. She was 2 times admitted, and date of current admission was on September 1, 2022. So for the chief complaint was she felt severe weakness and pain. That was for the HPI. 2 months prior to admission, the patient experienced a sudden cough and slight weakness. The cough was non-productive and occurs only every other day. No medication was taken, no consultation was done. 1 month prior to admission, the cough became persistent, occurring every day and still non-productive. The patient also experienced shortness of breath during basic activities. The weakness she felt started to increase and noted a decrease in appetite. No medication was taken, no consultation was done. 3 weeks prior to admission, above signs and symptoms persisted. No medication was taken, no consultation was made. 2 weeks prior to admission, still above signs and symptoms persisted. No medication was taken, no consultation was made. 1 week prior to admission, the cough became more persistent. Shortness of breath is aggravated when coughing. Fever and chills accompanied by night sweats were noted. The patient felt increasing weakness and decreasing appetite. The cough is still non-productive and occurs 3 times every hour. She consulted a doctor and was prescribed ciprofloxacin, 500 milligrams 2 times a day for 7 days, which made an improvement to her cough. Also prescribed paracetamol, 500 milligrams 6 times a day, which improved the fever on the 3rd day. 1 day prior to admission, the patient continued to grow weaker and was able to consume only a small amount of food. The patient felt pain on her left upper quadrant and pain in her bones. No medication was taken, no consultation was done.
For the review of systems, next slide, please. For the review of systems, the patient showed weight loss. There were also like shortness of breath, may difficulty of breathing, and there's pallor for the hematopoietic. Next slide, please. Yan. Next slide again. Thank you. So for the general survey, the patient is awake and alert, responsive naman siya, oriented to time, place, and person. The dressing is appropriate, neat and clean. The patient is cooperative, rational, and friendly. But there was also distressed mood, and it is congruent with affect. So the vital signs were not stated, but I just added the temperature regarding the fever. The temperature would be increased more than 37.8. There was weakness and pale. So it is common for people with the CML to feel very tired because the bone marrow isn't able to make enough red blood cells, and they are crowded by the large number ng abnormal white blood cells. There's also a shortage of red blood cells, calling this anemia. This can make you feel breathless and tired. For cachectic or cachexia is that the CML can use up energy that your body would otherwise use or store the patient may lose weight even if she thinks na nag-eat siya normally. But then there's also a condition that would cause the body muscles to waste away, and it comes with extreme weight loss, and then it would include the loss of body fat. And lastly, for the tenderness and fullness in the left upper quadrant and spleen that was palpable below the umbilicus. The enlarged spleen is the cause of the buildup of abnormal blood cells in the spleen that may cause yung fullness, may loss of appetite, or swelling sa upper left side of the abdomen. And the patient might feel full more quickly than usual. And if you have a swollen spleen, it is actually squashing in stomach. This can make you eat less and lose weight. So that's all for my part po.
So for the diagnostic test, for chronic myeloid leukemia, it consists of a complete blood count with differential and peripheral blood smear and bone marrow analysis. So although typically resulting in accumulation of long-lived cells with low or absent enzymes, such as ALP. So consequently, the leukocyte alkaline phosphatase stains very low to absent in most cells, resulting in a low score. So in peripheral blood smear, sa may right side upper na picture, with CML shows a typical leukoerythroblastic blood, so with circulating immature cells from the bone marrow. So the blood film, high power magnification, it demonstrates the leukocytosis with the presence of precursor cells of myeloid lineage. So in addition, basophilia, as you can see in the picture, eosinophilia and thrombosis can be seen. The transitional or accelerated pace of CML is characterized by poor control of blood counts with myelosuppressive medication, the appearance of peripheral blasts, promyelocytes, and basophils, and reduction of platelet counts, less than 100 cells per UL, so unrelated to therapy. So promyelocytes and basophils are shown in the image. As a left side, right side below, it's the signs of transformation or accelerated pace in the patients with CML, or poor control of blood counts with myelosuppression or interferon. So there's an increase in blast cells in peripheral blood with basophilia and thrombocytopenia not related to therapy. So next slide, please. In bone marrow analysis, the bone marrow is characteristically hypercellular with expansion of myeloid cell line. Example of this is the neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils. And its progenitor cells, megakaryocytes, are prominent and may be increased, as you can see in the picture. And mild fibrosis is also often seen in the reticulin stain. We can call it the sea blue. So chronic bone marrow film in high power magnification demonstrates a clear dominance of granulopoiesis. So the number of eosinophils and megakaryocytes is increased. In the right side, the cytogenic studies of bone marrow cells or even in peripheral blood should reveal the typical PH1 chromosome, which is reciprocal translocation of chromosomal material between chromosome 9 and 22. So in addition, back to the last slide. Thank you. In addition, leukocyte alkaline phosphatase concentration may be altered by the presence of infection, stress, chronic inflammatory diseases, Hodgkin disease, and hematological disorders. So low level of LAP are associated with the presence of leukemic leukocytes while high levels are present in the normal white blood cells. So, mababa siya sa patient natin. Tapos, yung LDH niya, lactate dehydrogenase, which is 692 IU. The reference range is 140 to 280. IU is when the tissue in your body experience damage or injury, bababa talaga yung LDH mo. So, the elevated uric acid and lactate dehydrogenase in CML due to rapid blood turnover, high uric acid seen in many cancers due to the rapid blood cell turnover. Next slide. For the treatment.
So for the treatment medications, next slide po. Treating the chronic myeloid leukemia by phase, the treatment options for people with CML is nakadepende dun sa phase of their disease. Could be chronic, accelerated, or blast phase. Their age, their other prognostic factors, and availability ng stem cell donor with matching tissue type. So in chronic phase, the standard treatment for chronic phase CML is a tyrosine kinase inhibitor. Kinase inhibitors works by blocking the action of the abnormal protein that will signal the cancer cells to multiply. This helps also to stop the spread of the cancer cells. So, yung mga tyrosine kinase inhibitors like the imatinib, nilotinib, dasatinib, and the bosutinib, these are the drugs na i-discuss natin mamaya. So, if the first drug stops working or it never really worked well at all, so the dose may be increased or another TKI might be tried. Next slide po. Imatinib is the main treatment for the CML, usually given siya soon after the diagnosis that is made to slow the progression ng cancer and stop it reaching the advanced phase. So this works by reducing the production of the abnormal WBCs, and this is taken as a tablet once a day. The side effects will include the feeling and being sick, swelling in the face and lower legs, muscle cramps, rashes, diarrhea, mouth sores or swelling inside the mouth, loss of appetite, and weight loss. For nilotinib naman, so if you cannot take the imatinib or hindi siya gumagana, so nilotinib may be recommended instead. It also sometimes used as a first treatment then for CML. This works in a similar way for to imatinib then, and this is taken naman as a capsule twice a day. The side effects are headache, feeling sick, abdominal pain, rashes, itching, hair loss, muscle pain, and tiredness. Next slide po. Dasatinib naman, if you cannot take, syempre, yung imatinib or nilotinib, dasatinib may be recommended. So this is taken as a tablet once a day and may be taken for life if the blood and bone marrow test shows if it is working. So side effects are increased chance of picking up infections, tiredness, shortness of breath, diarrhea, headache, rashes. For bosutinib naman, this is a similar medication sa imatinib, nilotinib, and dasatinib. So this may be recommended if you cannot take these medications or if you tried them, tas hindi naman gumana. So the bosutinib is taken as tablet once a day and may be taken for life. Syempre, if the blood and bone marrow test shows that it is working. So the side effects are diarrhea, feeling and being sick, abdominal pain, fever, and rashes. And last, next slide. Ponatinib naman, similar medication din siya in those mentioned above. And this is only recommended for people with a specific genetic change mutation called the P3151 PI mutation. So this is taken as a tablet once a day. And the side effects are there's increased risk of picking up infections, tiredness, shortness of breath, headache, rashes, aching joints. Chemotherapy naman may be recommended if you cannot take the medicines above or if the CML has progressed na doon sa more advanced stage. It can also, this involves the taking medicines to kill the cancerous cells, and the side effects are tiredness, rashes, increased din ng vulnerability to infection. And last slide, next please. Next slide po. The stem cell or the bone marrow transplant. So only potential cure lang siya for the CML, but this is a very intensive treatment and not suitable for many people na may condition ng CML. So this is where the donated cells are called stem cells are transplanted into the body to start to produce a healthy white blood cells. So a stem cell transplant involves having high dose chemotherapy and radiotherapy to destroy the cancerous cells in the body, removing stem cells from the blood or bone marrow of a donor closely related to the patient such as the sibling, and transplanting the donor stem cells into one of the day. So transplants are generally only considered in younger people na may CML, the people in good general health, and ideally yung may sibling na makakapag-provide ng donation. And lastly, for the treatment, intervention, and monitoring. Next slide po.
You're done? Hello?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay, so lahat na magmema kasi in like 19 minutes we have to end. What is the genetic abnormality in CML?
PCR and APL fusion gene po.
Ayan.
Yung
The
translocation.
fusion po ng.
Pinagsasabay nyo yata para hindi ko maintindihan, no? Ano yun?
This is the translocation of BCR gene on chromosome 9 and the ABL gene of chromosome 22 po, Doc. So magkakaroon po ng BCR-ABL fusion gene or yung Philadelphia chromosome, yung translocation 922 po.
So pinaghandaan mo to, Pasyo. Anyway, so ano ang magiging effect nito?
Pagluro na?
Okay na, kumaya na.
What's the effect? Kasi importante ito in the diagnosis di ba? So your BCR-ABL1 actually defines CML, di ba? Now, anong effect nung ano na to? Anong magiging effect? There will be a defect in what?
Tyrosine kinase.
And these oncoproteins will result into a defective tyrosine kinase. Okay? So, now, what is the chromosome that is pathognomonic of CML? Come on. It's a place.
Philadelphia chromosome po, Doc.
Yes, the Philadelphia chromosome, diba? Okay. Having said that, what will be the differentials? I think, what will be the differential in differential that will be considered in cases of CML?
Polycythemia vera.
What else?
Myelodysplastic syndrome.
What else?
Chronic neutrophilic leukemia.
What else?
Lymphoid neoplasms.
No?
Hello? Yung differential na benign.
Sa mga may leukemoid reactions po, Doc.
Leukemoid reaction. Yes, that's common, di ba? What is leukemoid reaction?
It is an increase po ng white blood cell count that mimics leukemia po.
And then how are you going to differentiate it from CML?
Lab score po, Doc.
Lab score. What else? Lab score lang ba?
Presence of basophilia.
May tatanong ko yan mamaya. Ano pa yung nabanggit ng reporter? Ano yung laboratory tests included dun sa lab score? My next question is how is lab score done? So ano pa yun? Ano pa yung lab test na yun na pwede mong gawin if you're considering you're considering that the leukocytosis is just a leukemioid reaction.
Come on.
Bone marrow analysis po, Doc.
Katakot naman nun. Tumaas lang yung WBC, ma-bone marrow, ano na agad. Ano yung
That's-
laboratory chemistry test, mga medtech?
Yung
LD.
lab activity.
Oh, may naputol yung, ano yon?
Yung lab
Yung babaeng nag...
LDH po.
Yes, LDH. And what will be the expected LDH?
Increase.
Increased ba, reporter? Ano yung sabi mo kanina? Oh, maganda na yung next question ko na lab score. Paano gagawin yun? O ano, let's ask the reporter, is it increased or decreased? LDH.
Doc, ano po? Increase po, LDH.
Increased siya. Bakit?
Kasi po nakaka-experience po ng damage or injury yung body natin.
Okay, because LDH are also found where? In the
tissues po.
Saan ba siya? Tissues. Sa WBC wala ba siya?
Meron po.
Okay. Punta tayo dun sa lab score. Paano ginagawa ang lab score?
By counting 100 neutrophils score and from that you will calculate final
Sorry,
score.
napuputol-putol ka, but yeah, I think you're saying naman is what you're saying is correct, no? Yung procedure and what will be the expected result in leukemia against leukemia.
Increase po sa leukemoid.
Mababa po
Tapos,
sa
less than
leukemia.
10 po sa CML.
Okay, good. Now, ano pa nga yung next content? What are the phases of CML? Nabanggit ito last
Chronic.
the last two slides, I think.
Chronic.
Accelerated po, pati blast.
Blast phase.
Isa. Chronic, accelerated, and what's the last?
Blast po.
Last phase. Or who can differentiate the three, or at least the blast phase from the other two? Oy. How are you going to differentiate those phases? Or the accelerated and chronic phase from the blast phase? Oy. Bilisan mo kasi mag 11 minutes na lang.
Sa blast phase po, doon na po yung mga more than 30% na po yung blast sa peripheral blood or bone marrow.
30 ba? Tumaas na ba? Alam ko si 20%. But yes, there are more blasts in the blast phase. In the accelerated phase and the chronic phase, they may not be very distinguishable. No? There is an increase, probably about 5% of the blast. But in the chronic phase kasi, about 10 to 90, 10%. And the chronic phase, mababa rin lang naman. And its blasts are really hard to quantitate them, and the difference, there will be subjectivity. Ano pa yung sabihin ko? In the chronic are benign WBCs that are commonly seen in CML. What are those? 2, or actually 3, but 2 common WBCs that are increased.
Basophils po.
Basophils and
Eosinophils.
na lang. Eosinophils. Monocytes, yes, also. How about the platelets? Are they increased, decreased, or normal? Sinabi to ng mga reporter.
Normal po or moderately increased.
Yes, but it is uncommon to see thrombocytopenia. Okay? Normal or increased. Yun yung platelets. Okay. Meron pa akong ano. Ano pa bang ano? What is that when in the bone marrow, you will see megakaryocytes, di ba? What is the megakaryocytes are described as what? Meron sila ano yung mga nucleus niya known to be dwarf morphology. Yan, ang daming tumatakbo sa utak ko na ano pa nga ba yung gusto kong sabihin. Okay, ano pala what are the two scorings that you know of used for CML phase establishment of the CML phase? Kamo, dalawa yun, binanggit yun parang in the first or second reporter. Hoy, yung risk calculation pala, risk scoring. Sorry. Ala.
So-called risk calculation.
Inyo alam. So-called risk calculation and Hasford risk calculation. Anong ginagamit ng, halos pareho sila eh, pero ano yung kaibahan?
Doc, sa Hasford po, kasama yung eosinophilia.
And what are the rest na pareho sila?
Parehas
o iba,
po
isa-isahin ninyo.
Spleen eye.
Okay, sige.
Spleen size
Sige,
po.
ubusin mo na nga. Sige.
Percent
The others na gustong umano, cut him off. Okay? Sige. Spleen size, ano pa? Ano pa?
Platelet count po, Doc.
And your percentage of myeloblast, diba?
Yeah.
Now, in the bone marrow of in the chronic phase, what is the myeloid erythroid ratio? Is it increased or decreased? Uy, wala. Sasabihin ko na lang. No? It is increased because increase. Why? Because there is a decrease in the erythroid. In the erythroids. Okay? Ano sabihin ko? Sa diagnosis, how are you going to diagnose? What is that pathognomonic finding? Paano mo ma-document yun? Bilis ninyo. Ano yung mga laboratory tests na lang?
PCR po, Doc.
PCR agad?
CBC with differential.
Okay. Tapos, ano yung mga pang malakasan na? You have your? Sige, ano pa? Ang PCR pala, ano ang nakikita dyan? Ano ang tinitingnan mo? Ha? Oy, ano nakikita sa PCR?
BCR ABL messenger RNA po, Doc.
This is actually to determine the Philadelphia chromosome. Yeah. And then, or the oncoprotein, diba? The BCR ABL1. Okay, ano pa ba? Yun lang. We have to end in 5 minutes. Sinong gusto magmema? Wala na? Wala na. Wala nang magmema. Sige, I'll wait till 5 minutes. Ayan, so just stay logged in, in up to 11:30. Okay? And your quiz at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. and 7:20, I think. Madali lang naman siya. For Friday ba yon, Bonnie, yung ating yung ating
practicals po, Doc. Yes po, Doc. Sa Friday po.
Hindi, sorry. Quiz.
Quiz po, Doc.
For these two,
Sa Friday din po, Doc.
Sa Friday ng 7 p.m. din.
Sige po.
Or even later. Depende sa inyo. You can do it later. Sa Zoom naman siya. Just tell me kung anong oras ninyo gusto. So wala na tayong utang. Nagawa na natin lahat. Lahat na ba nakapag-mema? Tawag nito? Bonnie? Sa CML?
May 4 po. May 4.
Ano na? May 4 pa?
4. Opo.
Sila rin yata yung Big 4 kanina, di ba?
Hindi po, Doc.
Iba naman ang Big 4 ngayon. So pinaglalabanan pala. Kayong mga Big 4, ano ang masasabi ninyo? Anong feelings nyo?
Sabihin ko na ba yung pangalan, Doc, para...
Sige,
Name, Manalang, then Gutierrez, Makadangdang.
Asan na kayo? May Big 4. Wala kayong sasabihin? So stay lang kayo. So wala na. Okay, you may leave.